And I think we are all set up. Hey guys, I'm Follygon or Ben. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me know if there's any audio issues in the comments. Today we're just going to be doing some live streaming in ZBrush. I have an idea for something that we can make here that I already pulled up for us. Been wanting to make something similar, at least to this character, for a while. I really like his neck. And if you guys have any suggestions or anything that you would like to see, any questions, anything like that, just let me know and I'll do my best to answer those questions. And if we have any requests, maybe we can go that route as well. Like I said, I'm just going to work on this for now, but until some people start coming in and asking questions and maybe leading us down a different route, we'll see where this goes. So again, like I said, hopefully you can hear me. Let me know if there's any audio issues. It's a little difficult to test right now because I have my air conditioning on. It's pretty hot out today here in the Cincinnati area. So AC's on, might be creating a lot of background noise. Just let me know. Alright, so I heard someone asking about possibly showing a Maya pipeline today, ZBrush to Maya, and then back and forth. Helion Dark said, "Cool dragon?" ? I don't think he's a dragon. I think he's more of like a lizard. He reminds me of what's the film with Johnny Depp? When he's not in it. He's the voice actor. I think it's Rango, and he plays a lizard. And that's what this guy kind of reminds me of. The concept artist, and let me pull up his name so I'm not saying the wrong thing here. It's Dong Bing, D-O-N-G-B-I-N-G, Dong Bing. He has a lot of really cool stuff, very similar to this style, and I enjoy a lot of his work. And I was thinking, this might be a cool guy to make today. And sound is okay. Awesome, that's perfect. So, some guy was asking about showing a ZBrush to Maya pipeline possibly today. And unfortunately, my old work used to pay for my Maya, so I no longer have Maya with me right now. And after my computer crashed, I haven't even thought about like getting a student version or anything like that. I don't really use Maya a ton, at least for the time being right now. The only time I use it is if I'm going to be doing anything for rigging and animation. UVs, texturing, anything like that, rendering even, I do that all in external other programs. So let's go ahead and just mess with the shape of his head here. Essentially what I'm going to do is create the base shape of this skull, and then I think I'm going to make these eye socket shapes separately. And you're saying, yes, you want to see Maya to ZBrush and back and forth as well. Maybe that can be something we do in the future. I don't know if there's a ton of tutorials on that kind of thing. I used to do a bunch of stuff in Maya, but not too often anymore. But I do really like Maya. That was actually the program that I kind of got started in 3D with at school when I was in college. I originally wanted to do some animation stuff, and ever slowly I kind of realized that really wasn't my cup of tea. Uh-oh, our lamp turned back on. I have this lamp over here, and the light bulb's not burnt out, but I think the lamp is broken. I've tried like 3 different light bulbs in it, so I know it's not the light bulb. The lamp like just keeps flickering and turning off and on, and I'm worried that it's gonna like start a fire. I have no idea what's going on with it. So for now, I'm just gonna leave it off until I don't know. Maybe it's time I get a new lamp. But I do like that lamp a lot. I've had it for at least a couple years. Well, I'm that guy, I guess. You're the guy who wants to see Maya to ZBrush. Well, I think I've heard it from more than just a couple people for sure. So maybe we can do that in the future. But like I said, I don't have Maya right now, unfortunately, on this machine. So that'll have to be something that comes later. So I'm going to use 2 subtools here. one for the upper and one for the lower portion of the head. And if you look at the separation here, I might even do a third subtool for that middle portion of the head going up into those eye sockets like I was talking about. I'm not really sure. We'll play around with it. If you don't know what this is Lightbox. I'm sorry, not Lightbox, but Spotlight. Lightbox is this guy up here. Spotlight allows you to import photos. It's in your texture palette, I believe. I can pull it up here real quick. So yeah, Spotlight. So you choose your texture and click Add to Spotlight. And then from there, it's just Shift-Z to pull that up. And you can even do some really cool things like lower your opacity and overlay it over top of your sculpt if you want. And you can maybe line some stuff up, see what's working, see what's not, and work like this. It's definitely very helpful for using for reference. I definitely like to kind of keep stuff all in one place here, and it makes it very easy to do that. And I was just sculpting over top of my mesh. If you want to do that, normally Spotlight is for textures, so you can like paint through. So I could like paint that texture onto my my mesh here. But I have Spotlight projection turned off, which I've talked about before, but I believe it's somewhere in here. Well, it is somewhere in here, just off the top of my head. I don't know where it is, and I apologize. This is why I use all the quick menu stuff, so I never have to dig for things. But it's in here somewhere in your brush palette, and you want to turn that off if you want to use it as a reference image and sculpt through it. What are you making? Some lizard dude by Dong Bing, awesome concept artist. Model some stuff. How long you learning ZBrush? I've been playing with ZBrush three-ish years now. I've been using ZBrush for around 3 years, I'd say. Where you get just a plain black hat? I don't know, Brendan. Where did I get just a plain black hat? Never been asked that one before. I think you should ask Peter. I think Peter knows the answer to all hat questions. Brendan, shouldn't you be working right now, young man? Shouldn't you be at work? All right. So again, just trying to get this separation here. We'll play with it a little bit. It's been a while since I've streamed. It's been like a month since I streamed. My computer like super crashed, and that was very, very not good. And I don't think I've streamed since then. Been trying to get everything back up and running. Just a pain to go through that whole process. But I'm pretty much back to 100% capacity here in terms of getting all my programs back. Sub like Maya and that kind of stuff that you were asking for. But that's alright. Like I said, I don't really use it right now, and that was something that my old company had for me anyway, for animation and stuff like that. So yeah, little lizard boy, little lizardman. Right now, I just want to block this out, and like I said, this is super helpful for the blocking in portion. This stuff is super confusing, but really the only few options in here that I use are scale and excuse me, and opacity, and then just clicking on this will move that around for you, and then just line that up as best as you can. And you could there's a weird, it's been a while since I've done this, so let me think for a minute. There is a way you can rotate along this axis while looking at it. There we go. Okay. So, you guys probably know, if you've used ZBrush before, the three kind of types of movement in ZBrush. You know, you got rotate, you got zooming, which is like the most confusing one, as far as pressing Alt to pan, letting go of Alt while still clicking to zoom. Like, it's pretty strange. But if you hold Shift and rotate, and then let go of Shift, you'll be able to rotate along your I guess that would be your z-axis here. So that can be helpful on occasion, such as right meow. You can kind of get an idea of proportions here a little bit better. And this isn't lined up as good as it could be, but that's all right. And there's also some perspective going on here. I could turn on perspective, but our perspectives, ZBrush's perspective is definitely not what I would call accurate by any sense of the word. Using perspective in here, you can mess with your angle of view. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe an angle of view of value of around 30 is pretty close to real world perspective. But then again, that depends on how close up or far away you are to your mesh, and as well as a couple other things. But I think the default of 50 is pretty good for my uses for when I need it. Let's see. Got your hot water heater replaced. District sewage is pretty much F, like no other. $10,000 in repairs. That sounds like a pretty swell day. My day's been going pretty good too. You know, I went grocery shopping, did a bunch of chores today. I sprayed for ants. I swept up about 400 ants in my kitchen today. It was a good time, just a good day. I did not spend $10,000 at the grocery, though, so you got me beat there, I guess. First time in 5 months, good for texturing. Yeah, Spotlight is very good for texturing, absolutely. They're much better. Request a tutorial about fiber mesh for your next video. Absolutely. I have not done any kind of tutorial on fiber mesh, but I definitely plan on doing some stuff with that, at least on stream, if nothing else. Is there anything specific that you would like to see with fiber mesh? Fiber mesh has a few purposes. Most people just use it for hair, but you can do like fur on a creature, or you could even do grass or other kind of plants or even trees with fiber mesh is some of the stuff that I've done. It's actually pretty easy to do some grass in there. Just go into Lightbox Fibers, I think, and there's a few in here, and this one's pretty close to what you'll need depending on the scale of your scene. There's like some ivy and a bunch of other random cool stuff in here, but overall, most of these are just good starting points. So if you haven't used the Lightbox Fibers before, I would say start with that and kind of branch out from there. Fur and grass sounds cool. Yeah, that is super cool. I like working with fiber mesh most of the time. It's kind of a pain in the butt to get it to do exactly what you want most of the time. And Spike, welcome to the stream. He said, do you currently work in the industry? Not anymore, I do not. I left my job working as a full-time digital sculptor, doing toys and amusement park figures, life-size amusement park figures. Might crash, and that kind of thing. And now I do this and some freelance work full-time. So this is the new gig. Hi from Venezuela. I love your work. Thank you so much, David. Welcome to the stream. Can YouTube or someone, just please, anyone, do something about these little chiclet face emojis? They disturb me on so many levels. I don't understand them. Why can't we just use the iPhone emojis? I think those are actually Google's like Android emojis. I have a Samsung phone, Note 5, so they have their own proprietary emojis, but still, like the little chiclet face emojis scare the crap out of me. They're disturbing. There's nothing else to say about them. They need to die. They need to go away. So I'm just splitting my mesh here, and I'm actually going to turn on double on both of these. I hate when I create a selection like this and I can't see my backface polygons. I don't know why that's the default, but it makes it hard to know what you have selected and not selected. So I pretty much always turn double on. If you ever want to turn that on, that's down here in your display properties, double. You can also flip your normals as well. So I'm just going to cut this up into a few more parts to make it a bit cleaner, hopefully. Typically at this point, I'll just, I sculpt pretty dirtily. That's not a word. I'm a dirty sculptor, dirty, fast, anything to get the job done quick. And then from there, I'll just like smooth it out very poorly, make a bunch of mistakes, and have to redo it all over again. Or I just Z-remesh it, and there, like I did for that piece there. I'll show you one more time. Just drop it down to 0.1, lowest possible value, Z-remesh, and there we go. And because that was so dirty, it actually tried to get some of that shape in there. So you want to maybe smooth that out first and then Z-remesh it back down. Problem with doing this though is that if you, so look here at, I'll just draw a line maybe along right about there. So you can see where that's touching the mesh at. This is a little big and annoying. Scooch you. You can see where that's touching, and if I Z-remesh it and now subdivide it to kind of like smooth it, you can see that it shrinks in size a little bit, and that's a little bit annoying, but you can kind of correct that with some inflate stuff down in your deformation palette if need be. But I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it how it is, and I'll use my move brush and just manually kind of get it back into position and fix it. Any tips on getting into the industry? I'm currently working on my portfolio, mainly focusing on statue pieces. Will you attend the ZBrush Summit this year? Would be cool to meet you. I would love to attend the ZBrush Summit this year. That all depends on if my schedule lines up as far as work and time. I would really like to go. I'm all the way over in Cincinnati, so it's a bit of a ride down to Anaheim. Or I guess they're more on the West Coast, so I don't know if they're in LA or Anaheim or where exactly that is. I believe they're connected to, I'm talking about Pixelogic here, I believe they're connected to the Gnomon School of Arts, and there's like, or they're across the street from each other, or something to that extent. I'd love to go. I'm not sure if I will. We will see. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Any tips on getting into the industry? Practice, 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 practice. Keep practicing. Send your portfolio to a lot of friends. Join the ZBrush Discord. There's a link over on my YouTube channel in the like little links section on the right side. Join that. Ask people for critiques of your work. Keep practicing. Practice some more. Don't forget to practice. Yeah, keep practicing. There's a lot of people working very, very hard day in and day out, and it's a very competitive field, and depending on what you want to do, if you want to get on into the games industry, that's even harder, and you have to know even more technical skills to do something like that. If you want to get into the film industry, I'd say it's probably just as difficult as getting into the games, but I think maybe on the technical side, you maybe have to not be quite as knowledgeable, and your kind of stuff like your poly count and texture resolution isn't quite as strict because it's not all in real time. But either way, just keep practicing, man. Like I said, there's a lot of people working 10 times harder than I am every day, and some of those people have never had a job in the industry, or they're not happy with their position currently. So definitely just put in the work, block out those distractions, and don't give up. Keep going for it. Absolutely. Hollywood. They're in Hollywood. yes, either way, I would love to go. I'm not sure if I will. We'll see how that works out with finances and time and all that jazz. Noman is so close then. Yeah, I believe Noman School is connected to their building in some form or fashion. You know what I just realized, guys? I looked over at the stream and this guy is being covered up by my stupid face. So let's move that, or next time I'll just remove my stupid face from this thing, or move my stupid face. I have the power to do this. I can just go wherever I want. I'm a god here. Can I undo that? I can't undo it. I can't get it back where I had it. Oh man. Well, that's probably close enough. That's fine. We'll make it work. Alright, so I need to pull this forward, kind of line this up a little bit. Like I said, I am a guy who likes to split things up into lots of parts when I'm sculpting. It definitely results in a cleaner mesh in the end once I start kind of merging stuff back down. And let's go ahead and realign our guy. You know what we can do? We can actually rotate that instead. And I don't want to rescale that image. Real quick here, I'm just going to turn... I'm just going to turn down... Where is it? Performance, and turn down those max threads to 6. And we'll quick save. And because I just screwed up my ZBrush UI, you can see down here. Let's see if I can fix it. Oh, come on ZBrush, be nice. Whoop, it did it for like a split second. Oh, come on. Did we get it? Oh, we super didn't get it. It's super broken now. Alright, we just quick saved, so we should be good. I'll just pop that back open real quick. I want to ask you about this industry. In this industry, we must be general skill or specific skill. It depends on what you want to do, I guess. Define this industry. Are you trying to get into games? Are you trying to get into into movies, into sculpting stuff for toys, for like amusement parks and that kind of thing, like I was? Yeah, so I think it's pretty dependent on what you specifically want to do. There's definitely benefits to both. If you want to, be a generalist. Be a very, very good and very knowledgeable generalist. But if you want to be skilled in one specific thing, you better be damn good at it. You better be like the best at it. Because people aren't going to hire you or want to work with you unless you're the best, right? People want to work with the best or the cheapest. I prefer to work with the best. Yeah, so I think it's pretty dependent on what you want to do and what your kind of personal goals are. For me, I want to sculpt in ZBrush. I have for a very long time. I love ZBrush, and I want to kind of continue to flex my muscles in that area. So I'm going to continue to work on stuff in ZBrush, which is one of the reasons why I won't focus too hard on doing a ZBrush to Maya kind of pipeline here, like in the next week or so. Just because that's not kind of my personal area of focus. So it's very dependent on what you mean by this industry and what you mean by kind of what you want to do, and a lot of things. There's no really like all around single general answer for that. Do you know anything about animations and how to get into the movies with that? How to get into the movies, like a movie theater, or like... No, I understand what you're saying. yeah, I did some, like I said, I started off wanting to get into animation. That's like how I got into 3D in the first place. And I was, whoop, 1 second here. Don't want to scale that. So I started off in animation, and then from there I got more and more into 3D modeling, and then I discovered Mudbox, and then I discovered ZBrush, yay! And here I am, doing stuff in ZBrush. So, as far as animation, I guess I don't know entirely what you're looking for. You just say, do you know anything about animation? So I guess yes I do. I started off doing stuff in animation, like I said. Actually, some of the first stuff I was doing was just a bunch of like physics simulations in Maya, and that was kind of in school how I kind of got into 3D. That was a lot of fun back in the day. Hey Follygon, love hearing to your stream while working. Would you mind to critique my portfolio? Yes, absolutely. Go ahead and send it to me through Discord if you want. If you're not on the ZBrush Discord, you can always just email it to me. You can go to my about page, I think is what it's called, on YouTube. I don't know how they label their stuff. I think it's called About. Go on over there, and my email's in there, and you can shoot your portfolio over to me. I would love to check it out for you, dude. Let's see here. Oh gosh. What should we do next? Should we do the eyes? Should we keep doing the body, blocking stuff out? What do you guys think? Also, I wanted to know, can you guys hear my air conditioning running in the microphone? I have the levels on my mic like blasted up super high just so it can pick up my voice from over here. Normally I have it like really low, and then I try to boost it later. So I don't know if you can hear me super well, or if my AC is like blasting in your ears and knocking your socks off. I'm not wearing any socks myself. Also, don't laugh while drinking water. You could choke and die. It's a very serious problem that I have. I tend to laugh more than I should while drinking water, and I drink water too much. This is what I've realized, because I already have to pee, guys. It's not pee break time though. It's not time yet. We'll wait. We'll hold it. We'll hold out. All right. So rotate some jank into position here. What time is it for you in Romania? It's 11:54. So I guess you're 6 hours ahead of me. Or wait, it's not 5:54. It's 4:54. I'm very good at math. You're about 7 hours ahead of me. I'm on the East Coast here in the Cincinnati tri-state area, and you are on Discord. Sending it to you right now. Awesome. Can't wait to take a look at it. Don't hear any extra noise. Perfect. Just followed you on IG. I think that's Instagram. Hope you can check out my work. My handle, Angel3DR. Spikes007, Angel3DR. I will try to remember that. If I don't, send me a message. Actually, just send me a message on Instagram right now. I didn't even know this was a feature in Instagram that you could send direct messages until like a month ago. And I've been using Instagram very poorly for a lot longer than a month. Can't hear the AC. Sound is fine. Perfect. Fantastic. All right. So let's get this neck into position. Like I said, shoot me a message on Instagram. 00. That's what I will call you. Good sir. Good friend. This is hard. This spotlight thing. It's annoying to work with on occasion. And by on occasion, I mean all the time. I'm just gonna merge these down and very quickly dynamesh them and like chop this off, because I typically do stuff in like the quickest way I can, as just like, how lazy can I be today? Turns out pretty lazy most of the time. But it works and it's quick. I could have like box modeled a tube down his neck, or I could have just like slapped 2 cylinders, dynameshed them, and went. I try to pick the thing that is the fastest and most efficient, as well as make sure it looks good. And you know what I need? I need another cylinder. So let's duplicate here. I'm just going to undo this back to a cylinder because I don't feel like inserting another one. It's going to tell me you can't do that. Oh, it didn't. It didn't tell me that I couldn't do that. Normally it's like, hey dude, you're deleting your undo history. Stop, you stupid, you big idiot, you big dumb. I'm like, no, just obviously ZBrush has learned that I just do what I want, and it doesn't argue anymore. Me and ZBrush have become one now officially. We're best friends, best pals. So I got this shape, and again, I'm just gonna 0.1 Z-remesh it super quick. Look at that! Look at that perfect. Almost perfect topology. That's all right. That looks good enough. We'll take it. Let's see here. It's so sad that I'll go to sleep soon, and you just started. Robert, don't go to sleep. Stay up. Hang with the cool kids. Sleeps for sleepers. Sleep. You don't need sleep. Be with us. It's easy for me to say. It's like 5 p.m. right now. Gonna hop on ZBrush and sculpt alongside your stream. Awesome. That sounds like a really good idea. I'm super excited. Send me a link to what you're working on in Discord as well, so we can take a gander, take a ganda. All right, so let's throw a body in, and then we'll continue to block out stuff like the eyes, and then we can jump around, arms, legs, tail, whatever. If anybody has any questions about what I'm doing, just let me know in the comments over there. Love to hear from you guys. And I'm just going to keep trucking along. So the neck, I went ahead and broke symmetry on already just because it's such a simple shape. I'm not worried about anything with it. I'm probably going to crease it or pinch it using a pinch brush later down the pipeline. But for now, I'm not worried about any extra work that I'm going to have to put in. Normally, the idea is that you don't want... Let me try to align that back where I had it. Normally, the idea is that you don't want to create a bunch of extra work for yourself, so you try to kind of keep that symmetry on for as long as possible. Whoopsies. Speaking of turning symmetry on, let's do that here as well. So I'm going to kind of like block this out into the shape of his body, but of course he's posed asymmetrically here, non-symmetrically is what that means. So I can't really line it up perfectly, so I can just look at it and get like a good enough kind of gauge on the shape and kind of proportions that he has going on. As you can see, it kind of starts a little bit smaller and tapers outward to get a bit thicker as it goes down to the bottom. It's pretty gradual, and that might just be that he's like kind of turned to the side, so we won't give it too much of that form. And this is a pretty simple shape as well for the body, so we can kind of keep it very blocked out for now, a very simple shape, and then we can kind of pose it and sculpt on it some more later once we kind of get everything else into position. And as far as this, I'm just going to use a trim brush and try to round it out a little bit more with my clay tubes. It was starting to look a bit boxy. If I Z-remesh this, it might get a little wonky. The geometry down here at the poles can be, as you can see, a little bit weird. So let's undo that, and look at that. That is just janky as hell. We'll Dynamesh it first, smooth out that pole, just to make sure that we can kind of fix that shape. And again, I'm just gonna like make big changes here. So like, even if I did like a giant strong stroke, when I ZRemesh this, it's gonna pretty much round that shape out. So it won't even matter, but I'm just trying to use it's just like a quick way for me to kind of change the shape here of the chest using a clay tubes brush. Slightly round it out, get the shape closer to what I want, and then smooth it back down so I don't get any weird geometry issues when I go to ZRemesh this. I'm going to imagine that this guy's back is a little bit more arched and that the body kind of goes back more like that. As you can see in that shadow there, kind of looks like he's like kind of puffing his chest forward a bit. So I like that shape a bit more there. I'm tired as fuck, but I wanna watch some of this stream too. Your comment is so nice, but the little chiclet smiles terrify me. So I just don't know how I feel about it in general. What do you think about good portfolio? I'm worried about my portfolio because I will internship a few months later. I'm not good in animation, but I'm good in concept. Well, my personal belief, at least, we'll talk about portfolios here first since that's what you asked about. But also in general, I think you should try to be as specific as possible. With a portfolio, aim your portfolio towards the company that you're applying for. If you're applying to work at a company that does stylized characters, then your portfolio should feature a few very good stylized characters. If you're applying for a prop or weapon or armor designing kind of job where you 3D model that kind of stuff, you don't want a bunch of naked characters in a portfolio because that's not what they're hiring for. So kind of try to aim your portfolio at what you're attempting to kind of accomplish there for your job. I think in general, in my opinion, it is much better to be specialized than to be general. I don't think, in my opinion, that being general is, when I was in school, and school in general, and college in general, give you general educations, especially high school. If you're in the U.S. or primary school or whatever prior education before college or university you have, it's a general education. You can kind of pick and choose some stuff and maybe specialize down a track, but at least in the United States, it doesn't work super well that way. Once you get into college, though, you can specialize a little bit more, but you're still forced to take general education courses. At least at most of the universities that I know of. And that just, it's so, in my opinion, it's so stupid. College is very good at teaching you how to learn and how to be independent and do stuff on your own and learn on your own. There's nobody there to hold your hand and guide you, so you have to figure it all out yourself, which is good, but it's just the whole general education stuff, at least in my opinion, is a great waste of time and resources for people. If I could have started doing ZBrush stuff when I was in high school, just the difference in where I am right now in my capabilities and where I could be is just, it's a huge leap. I mean, I started from nothing and self-taught myself all the stuff that I know in ZBrush. I knew some like basic box modeling stuff in Maya, but other than that, 3 years ago, three and a half years ago, I didn't know squat about ZBrush or Mudbox or digital sculpting at all. But man, if I would have started earlier, that would have been pretty sweet. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that I think it's better to try to specialize as early as you can. Try to find that thing that you love doing. If you like doing character concept art, 2D, 3D, whatever it is, stick with that and work on only that. But if your love is for animation, maybe like yours is, it's kind of sounding like you're worried that you don't have any animation in your portfolio. Well, if the job's not looking for animation, then I don't see any reason why they would be looking for that. But if you're applying for maybe an animation position, then you might be kind of screwed if you don't have any animation stuff in your portfolio. But like I said, I would try to specialize your portfolio towards what you're trying to get in terms of job and work, and also say specialize kind of your career goals and maybe what you're aiming to be or be better at, and try to be more specific with that stuff as well. Remind people to back up the custom interface. I'm lost. Yeah, if you don't, I'm working on a ZBrush Quick Start course, and with that course, I'm going to be giving away my ZBrush custom UI, my materials, my brushes, all the stuff that I use, and I show you how to set it up and install it and all that. But if you do make a custom user interface, just make sure that you come down to config, config, and click Store Config. Clicking Save UI, it does the same thing, but it saves it as an external file, which might be what you want. I definitely keep a backup of mine, so I would say do both. Hotkeys, you have to store those as well. Store those as well, and click Save if you want to save them as an external file. Let's see. What do you think about One Nugget Nation? I'm good in concept. Let's see. All right, so moving on. I think that's enough about being general or Pacific. I'm not on the Pacific coast. I'm on the Atlantic. So I'm not. So maybe I shouldn't be so Pacific with all my work. Nah, I enjoy being specific with my intent and what I'm trying to accomplish here. Okay, so let's try. I'm trying to decide, looking at this guy down here, how do I want to do his mouthy do? Let's open it up a bit. I've already created a little bit of what is called a mouth bag in there. And I would like to, if you're going to use ZBrush, you got to make sound effects with your mouth. It is proven that making sound effects makes you a better artist. You can ask anyone. Anyone who's anyone, they'll tell you. That's the secret. It's the mouth sounds. Let's see here. Robert is leaving us. No, Robert, why? That's all right. You will be missed, Robert. Please come again. Please come hang out. Sorry I haven't streamed in so long, guys. Maybe next time you'll get more. Maybe next time you'll get more of our streams. Hopefully in the future, here, we have more time for doing streams like we do today. Today's a good day for streaming. I got a ton done on the Quick Start course yesterday. I am super excited for launching that, and that's hopefully going to be here soon. But there's still some more stuff that I want to do with it. I want to try to get it as good as it can be. The entire intent of that course, if you haven't heard about it, it's right there in the name. Quick Start. It's to get people up and running in ZBrush as quickly as possible. So I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to skip all the bullcrap, all the stuff that maybe you spend a couple hours that night trying to figure out how to do that one little thing, and then you never use that one little thing again. So I'm going to try to give you guys all the tools and stuff that you need that skips kind of all the BS. I've already done all the time wasting, so you guys don't have to. You never have to, find out how to use shadow box. I can't remember the last time I used shadow box. I don't, off the top, here it is. I was going to say, off the top of my head, I don't even know where shadow box is. For the people who don't even, do you guys even know what shadow box is? Shadow box is this tool where you paint masks on your corners here to, and it projects in, and where those masks intersect is what makes that shape. So I just turned it on and back off, and from those masks, that's the shape that I get from this. I cannot remember the last time I used shadow box or wanted to use shadow box. It's kind of in my opinion, more of a legacy thing. But stuff like that, stuff that you probably won't need almost ever, stuff that there's, a billion easier ways to do that thing with in ZBrush, I try to show you guys that stuff. So again, skipping all that BS and getting into the good of ZBrush, the meats of the poop sandwich. If you guys don't know about the poop sandwich, you should go watch that video. I'll throw a link down in the description of this video so that you can find it. It's a good one. I like the poop sandwich. I was thinking about making, sculpting a poop sandwich in ZBrush. I thought that would be pretty fun. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what we do. See what time happens, Maybe that's what we'll do in the ZBrush Quick Start course. We'll sculpt a poop sandwich. Thank you for all. Absolutely, you're welcome. Cool things for bullets, like old box modeling. Cool things for bullets. I believe you're talking about the shadow box. Yeah, but if I'm gonna make like a bullet or a bullet hole or anything hard surface, I'm just gonna box model it with ZModeler. Like 100% of the time. The ZModeler is awesome. If you don't know how to use that, maybe I'll do a tutorial on it. I haven't done a ZModeler tutorial. Maybe I have. Maybe I've shown a few things with it on stream, but I've never done like an independent video of just a tutorial of how to use it and general stuff with that. Have you ever done or thought about doing mentorships? Are you talking about me being mentored or someone being mentored under myself? Either way, I have thought about it. I'm super into mentorships. I was kind of talking about my rant about general education a little bit ago, and I think mentorships are a way to kind of alleviate a lot of the problems that exist in those scenarios, as they call them. But yeah, I've thought about it before. Why are you wanting some mentorship? If you guys are ever looking for, maybe not mentorship, you know what? Yeah, I'll say mentorship. In general, just go on over to the ZBrush Discord. You can find it on the links in my About page or on my YouTube sidebar, or also over on r/ZBrush on Reddit. I moderate that community, and there's just a ton of awesome people on there. If you ever have questions or want people to look at your work and, critique it and sometimes be nice and a lot of the time not hold back, and they'll tell you the truth of what you need to work on and where you need to improve. If you seriously want to improve and you want that kind of feedback and mentorship, I would highly recommend that you check it out. I think it's a great community, and they're all very nice and helpful. Taking a few artists and getting them through the whole process. So that's kind of what my ZBrush Quick Start course is meant for. If I wanted to mentor even just one person and kind of take them through the entire process, man, I can't even begin to imagine how. What the heck? It didn't even work at all. I can't even imagine how long. This sucks. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine words. I can't even imagine how long that would take. It would take quite a while. So that's kind of my intent with the ZBrush Quick Start course, because there's a lot of stuff to learn, right? I'm sure you guys know. There's a lot of stuff that you don't know, and there's a lot of stuff that you don't know that you don't know. So I hope that with this course I can kind of provide that for a lot more people than you know, I would be able to just kind of single-handedly, one at a time. And you know, it's more, and you know, I don't want to say that it's a general education of ZBrush, because it's absolutely not. If you want that, you can go over to Pixelogic's tutorials. They have amazing tutorials. They give a lot of content on how to use every single thing that you could ever want to know in ZBrush, and they teach you how to do it. But that's definitely not my intent. My intent is to get people up and running, to skip all the BS and just go. And like, hey, here's my custom UI, here's my custom brushes down here, all the stuff that I use, my materials, my scripts that I use, some free 3D models thrown in there as well. Like all this stuff to kind of get you up and running as quick as possible. General education is definitely not the idea there. Mask that. That's not what we want. You know, this is probably not something that a lot of you guys think about here. So what was just happening was that those inward-facing polygons on the inside of the mesh were popping through on the outside. And you might not even notice that if you don't have double turned on here, which I do. But when you're creating stuff for toys, or when you're creating stuff that's going to be life-size, that wall thickness of your mesh, let me show you here, the wall thickness of your mesh is very important. So depending on the scale of this guy, I'm going to guess that this is like 2 units, 2 inches tall. Yep, just about 2 inches tall. So in real-world measurements, and I say 2 inches, but it's not really 2 inches, it's 2 units. For all intents and purposes, though, ZBrush is measured in inches, kind of, sort of. It's complicated. Maybe we'll do a tutorial on that one too. We're coming up with a lot of tutorial ideas here, guys. Someone write these down in the comments so I can remember them, because I'm not going to be able to remember them all. 0.05 of an inch, essentially. That's too thin. Maybe like 0.08. I would like to keep it, like, for something that's 2 inches tall, gosh, you would want maybe like a fifth, so like 0.2 inches here. So you'd want to pull that back a lot. Or like a good way to do something like this for anything that's going to be printed or, you know, manufactured is to draft it back and have it kind of taper down into that shape. That's a really good way to kind of alleviate that stuff, but that's definitely, you know, something you have to keep in mind if you're thinking about designing for the real world, which is what I've spent most of my time doing myself. I'll definitely check it out. It's just asking because I'm interested in networking and stepping up my skills. Absolutely check out the ZBrush Discord. I know some artists that do mentorships but can't either afford them or I missed when it was underway. Well, hopefully the ZBrush Quick Start course is maybe more up your alley and kind of provides what you're looking for. I don't know entirely what level that you are at. The objective is to take people from absolutely 0 in ZBrush to 100. So if that's not for you, then don't worry about it. But if that's something you're interested in, definitely check it out at least and see maybe if it's up your alley. So we're spending a lot of time on this head. It's really hard for me to actually sculpt in ZBrush. and talk at the same time, so I apologize that I'm moving so slow here. We can go ahead and start to, I've been mainly noodling and kind of cleaning some stuff up, but we can go ahead and start working more on the eyes and start getting those into position and all that. Let's go ahead and just overlay this. I know that this is way too wide here in that middle portion, and that the head in general is too narrow. Is my symmetry turned off? Yes, it is. We'll mirror and weld, just to make sure we're good. Stretch that out a bit. And again, holding shift to kind of rotate along this axis, your z-axis I think is what we determined, and squish you in, pull you up. Alright, and throw you back down there. We'll mess with you more later. And also, some shadows can be a little bit deceiving on some stuff, so you can always kind of move your light around if need be. I'm pretty happy most of the time with the default kind of point light up top. Sometimes I'll move it to either the left or right side to get a better idea on forms kind of playing on my surface. No, just so I need, like, if I need to clean something up a bit more, that light can kind of show me where that needs to happen. Let's go ahead and just push this in real quick. We'll mess with that a little bit later. I'm just going to append here a sphere. Normally I would just like duplicate my mesh and throw a sphere in there, but anymore I like to append spheres because the appended polysphere 3D, or sphere 3D here, it becomes a poly mesh when you convert it. This sphere 3D has a really nice pole on it, and a pole is essentially this geometry right here. So what I can do with this pole is we'll turn on like toy plastic here real quick, and I'll grab my mask pen, mask it from the side, and we just get like a really nice kind of shape there. And I'll fill that with, we'll do mRGB black, and out here we'll do white. So now we got like a good kind of nice little eye here that we can put into position. And that's not what his eyes look like. He's got more beady eyes, and oh my god, I just realized that his eyes are going two different directions, which makes it a million times better. So, so let me go ahead and knock this into position here, or just get a really good general idea where this needs to go in terms of size and scale. Subtool master, mirror across the x-axis, merge into one subtool, 1 million polys, totally okay. We can handle it. Alright. You can always learn. Not sure what that's in reference to, but yes, you can always learn. It won't hurt checking it out, that's for sure. It's always good to refine the basics. I'm the guy who linked you my folio, by the way. I'm the guy who linked you my folio. Are you talking about the one on Discord? Because I have not checked quite yet. But I definitely will, and I will try to take a look at it as soon as we are done with this stream, actually. I won't do it on stream, unless, of course, you want me to do it on stream. Then I would be happy to do it on stream. So, this little end circle here on your transpose, it'll center my transpose on my geometry. Super nice, but if you have X symmetry or any other kind of symmetry on, when you would scale, normally it would scale if you just have one object, it will scale out from that center point of your transpose line. I have to yawn. But if you have two objects here, your transpose line is in two different locations, so when I scale this, it's actually going to kind of average between those, which is super annoying. I hate that feature. I wish I didn't do that. But yeah, we'll deal. And we don't have to follow this concept exactly. You know, I keep lining it back up. But now I'm feeling like really the only reason I wanted to make this guy was because of his ganky neck, which I really enjoy. And I also really enjoy the word ganky. But we don't have to stick too strictly to that. I'm going to flatten the eyes a bit. And I'm going to rotate them out to the side. Kind of like a gecko or chameleon. Is that a chameleon? I don't think that's a chameleon. Someone who's a lizard expert, let us know in the comments if this is a chameleon. Chameleons have long tongues, don't they? What the heck is this bullcrap? Sometimes you'll get stupid stuff like that. It's just the material didn't apply around my entire mesh for some reason. That's okay, we'll fix it. Oh, let's give him tiny little beady black eyes. And these will just be placeholders for the time being. So if you don't know, that color there is being applied just because if you don't have any color or material applied to a mesh, it'll just switch to whatever you have selected. So in actuality, what we could do here is, whoa, not scale, make sure that's still visible. Grab the opacity, turn that way up. And I think I have to turn on, let's just color sample this real quick. Nope, I can do it without turning it on. So I could color sample him. That's just the C key. You can actually color sample like anything. Your user interface, stuff over here. Like I can hold C and like you'll watch it as I move my mouse over stuff and like see it change. And like over this guy, we can find a good green that we like maybe. Whoops. Oh gosh. Sorry, I was confused there. If your mesh ever turns black, just change your color back to white. You probably press the V key. V key is the shortcut for switch color, which is right next to C, which is a little dangerous. Oh, I see. I have to have this little circle applied for me to be able to sample the color. Alright, we're in business now. We're good. Learning something new every day, right? Well, I probably knew that. I just forgot it. You know, there's too many little ZBrush things. So I'm just gonna, we'll start with the skin shade. We'll make him a little bit darker. What's going on here? Light's okay. Yeah, I don't know. Not a huge fan, but we'll apply that on him. You can use your up and down arrow keys to kind of cycle through your meshes if you didn't know that. It's a nice little trick. I believe that's by default. I don't think that I set that as a hotkey myself. I always forget that there's like a lot of stuff that is a hotkey for me that is not for everybody else. Like for me, it makes sense that all my brushes here down at the bottom are my number keys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, like going up through the numbers, kind of like Doom or Quake, you know. You can use your scroll wheel, or you can use your number pad to like switch between your guns. That's kind of like what I do. ZBrush is just a game to me, guys. ZBrush is just a game where I try to decide what weapon I want to use at that time. And actually, it's probably a bad idea that we switch to this color, simply because it's difficult to see form with skin shade 4 here. And that's why we have this material. And actually, when I applied that, I didn't even apply the material correctly. I just applied RGB. You gotta make sure that you have this turned on as well. So let's do that very quickly. Skin shade. Boop, boop. Alright. RGB back on. Flip that up. Folly clay. If you don't have the clay materials that I'm using right now, you can go grab them from my Gumroad for free. There's a link down in the description below. I don't think I've mentioned those in at least a few minutes. In at least a few months. So go check them out if you don't have them already. Everything on there is free. You guys can grab whatever you want. But if there is anything that you really like and you can throw me $1, I would greatly appreciate it. If you can't, no worries though. But if you could possibly share my content with some other people that you think it would really help, that would really mean a lot as well. I keep saying I'm going to mess with this dude's eyes, and then I just go and mess with other stuff because it's bothering me. Alright, well, we'll do the eyes. Work on the eyes. Come on, do these stupid, goofy, dumb eyes. Stupid, goofy, dumb. Alright, how do we want to do this? We want to pull this in a little bit as it like pulls in there, you can see. And then I'm just going to use a duplicate, so I have the mesh here. Delete higher, grab me a curve tube brush, and whoops, I'm going to turn those off. I'm going to kind of stroke out this shape. And I don't entirely know how that looks going around the back of them since I only have this one view, but I can kind of elaborate, or I don't think that's the right word. I'll figure it out. And you know, so I do this, that's fine. And as I smooth this, maybe I don't like the thickness of this so much. That's totally okay. If I want to increase that a little bit or decrease it, I can always use the inflate slider down here. I'm actually just going to poof them up a bit. Poof, poof, poof. Alright, that's enough poof. So it's deformation, inflate, if you want to mess with that. I actually use that all the time. The deformation palette is super, super helpful. I think I'm just going to kind of pull this into my mesh, and you can kind of see that it like tapers away from the eye there. You can see that line. So you can kind of try to replicate that, as well as try to get this like hooded shape. And I'm gonna have to pull that back as well. So we will mess with all these things. We'll get him looking very, very goof. Is that a Cintiq? Yes, if you want to see the specific Cintiq that I'm using, down in the description below, there's I think it's the very last link, it says My Gear. It takes you to kit.com, and it's all the stuff that I use, and you can check out the Cintiq that I'm using over there. I have a Cintiq 27, I think is what it is. It's the biggest one that they have available currently. It is the non-touch version, because touch screens on Cintiqs are the most useless thing in the world, and they actually hinder me more than help. The only thing I would actually use it for is in Photoshop, where you can like grab your screen like this and like spin your canvas. That's super cool. If I could do like cool stuff like that in ZBrush, maybe I would use it. Probably not. More so than anything, I'm not going to pay $500 for a feature I'm never going to use. No offense, Wacom. But I do love your products though. They're very nice. I love this Cintiq. He was a very pretty penny though. But it was very much worth it. I use it every day. I actually just stopped, so I just switched to this one right when my computer crashed, so two months ago maybe, I think. Yeah, we'll say 2 months ago. And at that time I was using a Cintiq Companion Hybrid. That is the one that is an Android tablet when you unplug it, and then you can like sketch on the go. I didn't really use it too often for those kind of features, and my neck was getting pretty sore from looking down, and it was about time for an upgrade, so I'm getting rid of the old Cintiq, selling that to a friend of mine, and then using this big boy. I love this tablet. Very, very nice. Like I said, I use it all the time. There is one, and I heard this complaint, and I ended up being one of the people as well. There's one dead pixel on this tablet, and it only shows on certain colors. I believe it's on black. I don't think that pixel can reproduce black. You can't, I don't think you can see it right now. Let's see here. Hopefully it don't crash when I go to make a new document here. No, it's here right now. Maybe it's a problem with something else, but occasionally I have one dead pixel square right in the center of my screen. It's super annoying. I hate that it's like right there in the middle. It's probably like the worst possible place for it. Give this a new dock. Please don't crash. Okay, we're good. Good. Oh god. We might have crashed. I was just saying, please don't crash, and then look at that. That's, you know, this is the problem. If you just never realize that ZBrush can crash, it never will. I think the problem was that I didn't turn my processors back down to 6 once I started. Went back to my quick save. I don't think ZBrush quick saves that feature. Hopefully we didn't lose too much. I don't think I quick saved right before I tried that. Me knowing better than that, I should have. So we'll see. We probably didn't lose too much though. We'll just redo those eyes real quick. That won't take very long. No worries at all. It took like 10 minutes. If you ever want to change your quick save preferences, or down here you can change your maximum and restoration. Restoration really doesn't matter. Turning that way up, ZBrush isn't going to crash if you're not touching it for the most part. At least it very, very rarely ever does for me. I can't remember a time that it did. So like I was saying, processors, performance, we'll turn these max threads down to 6. So that should do us a little bit better now. And we'll grab this guy and throw him back in our lightbox. Again, the lightbox is in your texture palette. Grab an image and click this add to spotlight. That's how you turn on and off the spotlight. I think I said lightbox again, I didn't mean to. But you can go ahead and learn the shortcuts for that as well. Makes it a bit easier to work with. Guys, look how much we've gotten done in like 45-ish minutes or an hour. I work like 10 times faster than this if I'm not talking at the same time. Like I said, it's super difficult, but that's totally okay. I'm having fun. So let's it didn't save our colors either. No, it saved our colors, not our materials. That's okay. That's okay. Everything's okay, guys. Guys, everything's okay. I'll just fix it. Fill object. Fill object. Fill object. Back to the eyeballs. Delete higher so we can actually throw a tube in here. Curved tube. A curved tube. And we will try that again. You have a 13-inch touch Cintiq, and the touch is annoying, right? So I had that on my my last Cintiq as well. And the first thing I ever did when I plugged it in, like every single time, immediately was turn off touch. I even set up a hotkey on the side. It had like these side buttons. One of those buttons was designated as touch off specifically. That's how much I hated it. I didn't use any of the rest of the buttons though. I'm so used to using a keyboard in ZBrush and everything else that I can't use hot like side buttons. I have like that remote that comes with this big Cintiq. Dude, that remote is like the most useless piece of garbage. I'm sure a lot of people love it and use it, but like I just don't care. If there's a version of the Cintiq where I can pay less to like for you to not include that remote, that would be awesome. It doesn't exist. I usually work with a bamboo. The first time trying a Cintiq felt like heaven. I used to have a bamboo tablet. The very first graphics tablet I had was a bamboo tablet. And I loved that bamboo tablet, and I still have it. I lost the pen for it, unfortunately, but it's very good on the go, and if you just have a laptop or something like that, it's a great tool. I would highly recommend just one of the bamboo graphics tablets. You know, everybody's like on the Intuos wagon. They're all made by Wacom or Wacom. It is Wacom though. But the bamboo works just as well as the Intuos, in my opinion. The Intuos line is the newer tablets, but the bamboo ones are, you know, like I said, they're just as good, maybe a tad bit smaller. But in all honesty, I would prefer to use my bamboo tablet over one of the big, heavy, bulky Intuos Pro 4s. So don't knock those bamboo tablets. Plus, they're like $70, probably cheaper now. When I bought mine, I got it on sale for like $70, 70 or 90. It was around there. That was a long time ago, though. A long time ago. Alright, so we're redoing the eyes because we're stupid and we told ZBrush not to crash, and then it did. Knock on wood, aka quick save. Guys, don't forget to quick save. Hopefully this time, though, we luck out. No more crashing. I turned the performance tab down as well, like I said, so that should help out a bunch. So again, looking back at these eyes, you know, you got this hood shape here, so we really want to, you know, I need to inflate that again. I really want to exaggerate that popping out over the eye, so I might subtract the eye from that shape, and I'll show you guys how to do that here in a sec. But we also need to get the shape that's in the back portion as well. You know, the eyeball isn't just hanging out there in the open. If you guys have ever seen the back of an owl skull though, an owl? I don't know why I'm so fascinated with saying owl right now, but it's disturbing. Their eyeballs freaking hang out. You can see their eyeballs from their ear holes, and it's just very grody. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. We'll try to adjust this back in. Let me know if you guys are, you know, wanting more streams in the future. I don't know how available you guys are. My schedule's kind of a little hit or miss. It just kind of depends on the day. So I don't typically know until that day if I'm going to have an opportunity to stream like I do right now. So it's a little hard to, you know, work out an exact schedule for me to stream. But, you know, with this ZBrush Quick Start course that I'm working on right now, that's kind of hogging most of my time. But once that is done, I kind of hope to solidify more of a solid live stream. I'm just gonna stop saying words now. Words are hard. So let's duplicate these eyeballs one more time here. And I'll insert a sphere. Kind of adjust this shape. Spheres are pretty much what I throw on just about everything. Everything I make pretty much starts from a sphere at one point. Some kind of primitive is the basis for it. So as you can see in the concept, that's and like I said, we don't have to stick exactly to the concept, but this shape is going up higher so that the eyes are, you know, more facing forward. So let's rotate our eyes a little bit. Let's delete that geometry. And you know, we've been doing this whole time, so let's go ahead and do it once more here. Turn down the opacity, line that up. Doesn't have to be perfect. We just kind of want you know, more general placement. And we can even, you know, pull those in a bit, give them more of a squished, taller appearance. Actually, instead, since they are not on the, they're not rotated perfectly on the axis, I would rather grow them instead and then scale them. So we're getting the same effect there, but it's going to be perfectly symmetrical. It's going to be perfectly symmetra, as they say in Overwatch. I haven't played Overwatch in a very long time. Does anybody know if anybody here, I guarantee one of you has to play Overwatch. Come on, I know. Great, like if you like ZBrush, you have to like Overwatch, right? That's how that works. Anyway, is Symmetra like still like God mode where she just makes like I remember her turrets being like way overpowered, way too strong. I don't know if that's still the case. Someone who plays Overwatch, let me know. All of you are gonna chime in. I can feel it. Like, tell me who's your main. You know who my main is? Captain Falcon. That's who my main is. Just play some Smash Bros. That's my go-to game of choice. And of course, I'm talking about Melee, not any of the crappy ones. ZBrush seemed to develop patience. Yeah, absolutely. It's slow. I mean, like I said, I'm moving way slower than I normally would, just because of talking, and you know, it's harder to focus and talk and work all at the same time. Makes it not too easy. But yes, 3D modeling, sculpting, art in general, I think takes a lot of patience. And if you are not a patient person, well, you best become a patient person, because you are going to have to do this for a long time before you even get decent at it, before your sandwich could even be considered no longer a poop sandwich. It takes a long time. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's not easy, but I think that's why, one of the reasons why I like it so much. Factorio, Overwatch only Blizzard game didn't try. I don't know what Factorio is. At least off the top of my head, I might. Now I have to know what Factorio is, and I'm not looking at my keyboard. Oh, we did it. Oh, I missed a letter. So close. Factorio. Did I even spell it right? You know what? There's this magic little... I'm so smart. There's this magic little thing called copy-paste. Factorio. What is this? No, I have no idea what Factorio is, but you are obviously making a factory of some kind. It looks like a turret defense game, maybe? I'm not entirely sure. Looks cool, though. They reworked her, and she can choose from 2 ultimates now. What? I think she's the only character that can do that, then. Although I haven't played, I haven't played ZBrush in a while. ZBrush is a game to me. I haven't played Overwatch in a while, so I don't even know. She got buffed and got better as an offensive and defensive character. But you main Genji. Whoa. I like Hanzo. Isn't Hanzo the character that, like, whenever anybody picks Hanzo, they're like, no, you need to, hey dude, you gotta change characters. You can't play Hanzo. I never understood that. I think Hanzo's cool. I really liked, oh gosh, I would have to look at a character list because I'm blanking. I like Junkrat a lot. May was my bae, the ice chick. She's awesome. I love that character. There's actually a really cool talk on the making of, for like the art process for that character for May, and if I remember correctly, they do talk about like the ZBrush stuff for that as well, and it's pretty cool. The guy like talks about how, you know, just designing all the characters in that game was about figuring out silhouettes, just very, very strong silhouettes that, you know, are easily identifiable from a distance. So like if you were to use, I think it's Widowmaker has I think her ultimate ability lets you see like the outline of characters through walls, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's her. But anyway, you know, just if you do have that kind of ability where you can see through a wall and just see the silhouette of a character, that you can immediately recognize what that character is. And I think that's definitely something that I try to incorporate into my work, you know, just every once in a while. It's a good idea. Look, I'll tie this all back together. You just watch. You thought I couldn't do it. Overwatch and ZBrush. Oh, I can do it. So every once in a while, you know, just switch your color to black. Grab a flat color. I don't know why this does this. This is like a weird little glitch that it does where it shows your mesh as a... Come on, be nice. There we go. If you put it down in that bottom left-hand corner, flat color black, for some reason it switches it back to the default red wax material. I don't know if that's just my ZBrush, but I don't think so. It's a weird little thing. But yes, this is a good way. It should also work if I just press, nope. So this is again that, anyway. Either way, so black color. Check out your work. Please work. Just do me a solid. Check out your silhouette of your character that you're working on. Kind of see if things are lining up and making sense. Can you tell what's going on here? Just from these shapes, and that's a kind of a design practice that Overwatch definitely does very, very well. We can start to turn some of these back on. So that's kind of what you would look at as more of your primary forms and your kind of initial shapes and such. I'm just gonna step down. A lot of people ask me, good, it's Zen, 5 secs, and rest is coming better. Zenyatta, that's his name. Yeah, I really like Zenyatta as well. He's a very cool character. What was I going to say? I'm going to say something about, oh yes, I remember. So somebody was asking me about, you know, when do you use Dynamesh and when do you use subdivisions? Man, guys. Whew. Yes, I swear I know how to use ZBrush, I promise. So somebody was asking, like, when do you use Dynamesh and when do you use subdivision levels? That's something that, in my opinion, comes with practice. You'll know when to use which when you need it. It's super dependent on the situation and what your kind of uses are, what your purpose is. For the most part, though, when I'm just kind of sculpting and going through, I'll pretty much use Dynamesh for most of the time, I would say. But if you look over here, I am Dynameshing, but I also have subdivision levels, you know? There's no reason for me to Dynamesh this mesh now at a higher level. The only reason I would do that is if I was attempting to merge some geometry together, which I am not. So, you know, I don't really need to remesh this for any reason either. So, you know, I have a good, like, base level of 180,000 polys. That's totally fine for my sculpting purposes. And then I subdivided it once, and I can probably subdivide it one or two more times if the need arises. But for now, just kind of working here with these shapes, this works very well for my purposes. I think the kind of idea is the thing that you need to keep in mind is that if you don't need the geometry, if you don't need that extra subdivision level, then don't do it. Don't use it. Don't subdivide. Try to get your forms, going back to that whole silhouette thing, I won't do it again, but try to get everything where you want it in that lowest subdivision level. If it doesn't make sense from a low subdivision level, then it's not going to make sense at all. We can... Ooh. Let's see, where is it? There it is. That's not it. Where'd our Factorio go? There she blows. ZBrush, head, bad. I see so many of like this. This probably actually isn't a good example because from a silhouette perspective, at least from the profile, I would say that the silhouette isn't all that terrible. It looks like maybe they only focused on the silhouette. From the front, though, it's a little blobby, little blobus. And then as far as secondary forms here, it's very, very blobby. Not sure what's going on there. Here's a very good example of kind of just, and we have a nice signature here that I can't read. But, I was doing this as well when I started. But the problem is that you're too focused on getting to a finished product. And someone in the comments said, it seems like ZBrush builds patience, or you need patience for it. And that's absolutely the truth and the case. If you want to ever make something like this, then guess what? Or this. I think this is kind of new. I think I saw this recently. I think this is a newer sculpt by somebody. Anyway, if you want to get to a level like this, you need to put in the time, and you don't just need to put in the time in general in the past to level up, but you also need to put in that time in your sculpt that you're working on now. And I've been talking this whole time, so it makes it very difficult to work quickly. And I'm working probably at a fifth or a tenth of my normal speed. That if I wasn't talking, it'd be going much faster. But it just goes to show that in this amount of time we've been here streaming, I've only created these few pieces here. So take your time with your work. Really try to get those basic primary shapes down and get things to kind of make sense from that low poly view. Look, I got strokes back here. I'm not even worried about these. Sure, I could spend some time to smooth these out, but I'm not even worried about my surface too much. I'm starting to worry about my surface in the front. I'm starting to kind of create some of these secondary shapes maybe in the front, but in truth, I am more focused and I care more about the overall silhouette and the overall primary forms of this character. We have this kind of triangular head as well as a triangle for the chin, and then you kind of have this trapezoidal shape here. I'm more interested in getting those shapes down and getting them to a pleasing kind of look than anything else. I don't want to rush ahead and forget about these shapes along the way. These shapes are much more important to me, and they will be much more important to the end product when we do finally get there. So don't be afraid to take it slow and take your time with your work. It's not going anywhere. Take your time, grab reference, lots of reference, good reference, know how to use that reference, and put in the time. Put in the time. Practice, as I was saying before. Oh God. Oh God. And I assume that's in reference to those faces that we were just looking at. I mean, that's pretty common though. I see as the mod for, you know, r/ZBrush and the ZBrush Discord channel, I see a lot of stuff like that, and you know, people immediately ask, "Hey, critique my work," and it's like, there's literally nothing good here that I can say to, you know, you have completely missed the mark. You've missed it by quite a bit, and you should, in my opinion, start with something simpler a lot of the time if you're just like new to it, just starting out. But you know, if you do want to try to go for a human character right off the bat, then you're going to have to put in the time for sure, and definitely be patient with it, and expect that it's gonna look like, you know, like that for your very first one. You shouldn't expect, you know, I'm gonna sculpt Bryan Cranston, and then it looks like, give me a bad face. This. Oh, I didn't click it. What? Work. And then it looks like this. A big, swollen-headed, tight-lipped, pinched, weird nose-shaped face. The ears don't look half bad, but they're like the wrong in shape and alignment. But you know, that's kind of the point. Highly recommend. Don't try to do a human character just starting out. Like, you will regret it. You will not get where you want to go as quickly as you want to be. This process is not, you know, lickety split. It's not as fast as it looks like you assume it to be. So be prepared for a lot of growing pains, I would say, in those initial stages. And now you can see me being stupid and just like subdividing, because I don't even care about like levels as far like, oh wow, 3 million polygons on this one piece. That's okay. I'm gonna Dynamesh it anyway. I'm just trying to clean it up a tiny bit. And then I also want to backface mask move brush, pull this in just so, and I don't even need to do this, but it's more of a preference here to just make my topology in there and my geometry flow a bit better. Always draw cool shapes with your mask lasso brush as well. Uh-oh. Video output low. My stream health is red. I'm going to assume that that's not good. Let me know if you guys can hear me or see me okay, if everything's working all right. A good tutorial would be analysis of reference and basic shapes. I think that's a very, very good idea. I like that one quite a bit. Again, somebody should be writing these. Look, come on. So, the stream's still red. What's going on, guys? Anyway, somebody should be writing down all these ideas. And by somebody, I probably mean me. I should be writing down some of these ideas. I can thankfully scroll back through the chat, though. Unlike on Twitch, where, you know, if you leave that page, that chat's gone forever. But here, it's very nice, and it likes to, YouTube will save that chat for you. Don't know why Twitch doesn't do it that way. I might, on the next stream, attempt to use this tool called Restream. It lets you dual stream to multiple different networks. So like YouTube, Twitch, Picarto is another one. There's a bunch of stuff. So I might try that. But my home is here with you, fine folk, on the YouTubes. So, I don't know. We'll try it. If anybody's ever used that service before, Restream.io, let me know if you've had any kind of success with it. It seems like a miracle product almost, like streaming from. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how it works. If it like degrades the quality of your stream or what. So I might experiment with that in the future. Just using the pinch brush here to kind of sharpen up that lip a little bit. Got some weird stuff going on here. This is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about in terms of like the stuff that I care about more in terms of form. Getting like this transition to work the way I want it to. It looks like it's kind of like bleeding into that shape like that. More so than the way I have it now. But it's kind of hard to get this shape, which is why I had it separated into two separate pieces. It's kind of hard to get this shape with just one mesh. So I might, might split that back up. Which is kind of the reason I separated these pieces, you know, the upper and lower jaw. Split them back up so that I can more cleanly create the shapes that I need. Like I said, I think at the beginning of this stream, I enjoy splitting my mesh up into multiple parts. It helps me kind of create cleaner meshes, all in all. So if you've never tried to kind of experiment with that, I actually have a tutorial for that on my channel. And it's the one, I don't remember, I don't even think, it actually might be a stream. It might not be a video that I uploaded individually for a tutorial, but it's the one where I'm working on the female character that's split up and she's like standing in an A pose. An A pose? AA pose? Stream went off for a split second, but it's okay now. I'm still getting a video output low. I think that the stream here, we're looking at about an hour and 45 minutes. So I think I'm gonna give this maybe about 15 more minutes of just playing around with this guy, answering a few more questions, and then I think I'm gonna duck on out of here. And okay, 1 second here. Yes. All right. So yeah, give us. We'll go for like 15 more minutes and then bounce, and hopefully we will have another stream here soon. I will go ahead and say right now, for sure, I will stream next week. If I stream again this week, this weekend is actually my birthday, so it probably won't be this weekend. I'll be a little bit busy with family and friends. So if I stream this week, it will most likely be Thursday night. But no promises. We will just have to see how the dice fall. So everything is fine on your end for the stream. Beautiful, perfect. You know what? As long as it's good on your guys' end, that is all that matters. So this is like a bit dirty over here, and by a bit dirty I mean a lot of bit dirty. I want to get this shape up under the eye, so I think I'm going to duplicate this eye again. Knock down those subdivs, because you can't insert a mesh on a mesh with subdivs unless you delete them or freeze them. Too many yawns, guys. I need some coffee in my life. I don't know about you guys, but I do not drink coffee on a regular basis. But I kind of wish I did right now. And actually, so like coffee is like my favorite flavor of anything. But in truth, I'm just not a big fan of drinking that Joe in the morn, as they say. They, and by they I mean psychopaths. I don't know. Who says that? No one. So, think about how I want to do this. I think I just want to merge these down and Dynamesh them together. Ooh, scratch that. See, it's good to try stuff because then you find out what doesn't work. And what I didn't like there, one, I'm gonna bring this shape out more, kind of give it more of a curve, and also it needs to like be cradling the eye instead of what it's doing now, which is not cradling the eye, I guess. But also, I need that to happen, that transition. And then this line here, as you can see, is kind of going up into that corner. I kind of have that happening a little bit right now. So like somebody was saying, like a tutorial on analyzing reference. This stuff is important, you know, if you want to try to get that shape down or whatever you're attempting to copy. These kind of things, these kind of transitions here are what make the character what it is. And you know, in 2D, it's so easy to just shade those and fix those and make those changes. But if you want that to work in 3D, you might have to kind of flex a few more muscles and spend a bit more time on it. So again, all flowing back to that taking time, patience, and all those things. Mess with this a bit more here. And we'll just smooth it. And I wouldn't mind popping this out a bit more. So question for you guys before I go. Do you guys prefer more of speed sculptorly tutorial kind of content, or would you more prefer like live streams like this where we can come and hang out for a couple of hours? And for those that can't, you know, the live stream does go up a couple hours after the stream. It gets processed and YouTube will upload it automatically to my channel. So what do you guys kind of prefer in terms of content, I guess? In terms of would you prefer me just rough and ready? Hey guys, here's 2 hours. Let's do this thing. Let's do this tutorial. Let's talk about you know, how I'm going to do this kind of curved tube shape and why I'm making the decisions that I am. Or would you prefer more of a polished kind of tutorial that you can kind of reference and scrub through and go back through and send to all your 3D buddies, all one of them? I don't have very many 3D buddies, guys. Just all of you. You're my real 3D buddies, my only 3D buddies. Also, can you guys, just for the record, people say buddy, right? Like that's a thing, I think. I got yelled at by my friend for saying buddy. She said that buddy is a dad word, and last time I checked, I'm not a dad that I know of, but buddy is like the best word. You know, you got your 3D buddies, you got your other buddies that aren't quite as cool as your 3D buddies, but that's okay. Guys, the name of this stream for now on, forevermore, is just called 3D Buddies. This is it. We're the 3D Buddies, guys. This is us now. This is such a bad name. But yes. Oh, and you know what? I'm gonna guess. Oh, I was right. So I'm sculpting on this tube here, and I'm noticing that it's very laggy. What the heck? And I talk about this in my Quick Start course, which I haven't launched yet. But if that's happening, come on down here and turn off dynamic subdivisions. As you can see, now it's a lot more responsive. Dynamic subdivisions is used for mainly hard surface sculpting, and if you want to better see what your mesh would look like with a smoothing group on it. It's kind of like if you were to press the number 3 key in Maya, it like shows what your mesh looks like if it was subdivided without actually subdividing it, if that makes sense. I'm just pushing those eyes a little bit in here. So you enjoy working on your own stuff while hearing you in the background, or hearing me in the background. And Helion can learn more while talking than looking how someone uses all his tools. Awesome. Well, that's very good to hear. So like I was kind of saying earlier, it would be really cool if, you know, once I finish working on this ZBrush Quick Start course, that I can kind of do, I might need to reconstruct subdivs here, that I can do a bunch more streams in the future. I apologize if you guys can hear the dogs barking in the background. I don't really even notice them anymore. It's so very difficult to record here, just because there are a bunch of dogs around, so it definitely does not make it easy on me. So, you know, sometimes you have to record stuff very late at night if you don't want external sound getting in the way. So awesome. Very cool to hear that you guys enjoy streams a lot more. I mean, they're definitely easier for me, right? You know, all I have to do is show up and do what I do. That's not entirely true. Some of the stuff, though, I try to put a lot of thought into it, but in the end, these are just way too thick. In the end, you know, it's difficult to show stuff, kind of like Helion was saying. It's difficult to just show people stuff the way you do it without kind of talking it over and explaining, you know, why and how, and having the person be able to ask questions. That definitely makes things easier. I think it kind of creates that more student mentor kind of feeling as well. Gets us closer to that, which is definitely how I prefer to be kind of taught myself. Let's Dynamesh these. Kind of thin them out a bit. I'm just kind of hard smoothing it. And back face mask. I pretty much use my mask lasso for everything. I would recommend that you use the mask lasso over the mask brush most of the time, and then just when you need to make little changes here and there, that you can do that as well. Don't hear dogs. Well, very good. They're not barking right now, actually. Sometimes my neighbor's dogs are like, I think my one has like 3 or 4 dogs of their own, and then everybody else around me has dogs as well. Gets a little hectic at times. So, taking a look at this, I'm trying to thin it out. I'm only going to be here for like 5 more minutes or so, then I'll bounce. But I also want to get this back part worked out. These are just, you know what it is? What is it? I think the eyes are too tall, and this shape is incorrect. See how it ducks behind the eye there? So let's get that a little bit more accurate. So his eyes popping out a bit more. Yeah, it's not really a lizard unless your eyes are... You're a lizard, Harry. It's not really a lizard if your eyes aren't popping out. And it's not really, you know, my favorite characters to make are characters where their eyes pop out. If you saw my pug that I sculpted, then you know that I love characters with eyes that pop out. That's like the best. I mean, look, you heard it here first, guys. If you ever want to improve a character, any character, doesn't matter, just make its eyes pop out. It's this guaranteed better character. This is very, very, very bad advice. but I'm full of very bad advice and the occasional good advice. So stick around, and maybe I'll say something good before I go. We still got a few more minutes. You can make quick tuts like Michael Pavlovich. Those are nice. I believe he's the ZBrush dude. I believe he's on actually Pixelogic's channel and makes all their stuff. If that's who I am thinking of. But yes, he does a lot of good stuff. But again, he's like creating a lot of content that already exists on ZBrush, on the oh gosh, what are they called? The Z Classroom. There we go. Sorry about that. Couldn't think. He's creating a lot of content that kind of already exists on the Z Classroom. You know, how to use, kind of like I said, how to use shadow box. Here's the 100th tutorial on how to use fiber mesh. Like, my intention is not to create that kind of content every single time. I want to create content that people can actually use. Not that his content isn't useful, and not that all of them kind of have that feeling at all. But a lot of the time, you know, like I said, there's a lot of crap you have to sift through. And if someone else has already done it, cough cough me, then why make you do it too? I've already sifted through all the crap. I know what you need to use and what's garbage, so let's kind of help you out and, you know, not make you have to do all that. Make you, the only thing that's good about that is that it kind of does force you to practice, which you absolutely need. But I think the quicker you can kind of get up and running and know what you need to know and not have to wade through all the poop, then the better off you can be. The better off you can kind of get in and start practicing with what really matters. Trying to adjust this shape here without messing up the surrounding geometry. Being annoying. Yet another reason why you should split your mesh up into parts. No. Trying to figure out what I want to do with this shape. I need to, trim this, soften that transition, and then make it a sharp transition here. So I'm just using Alt Pinch to pinch in on my mesh. Mess with those more, and I will mess with the eyes and the rest of this. Maybe I will bring this character back for the next stream, or maybe if you guys have any ideas or suggestions. We had a lot of cool ideas this stream for different tutorials and different things that we can kind of cover. If you guys do have those kinds of questions and there's something that I could maybe show really quick, so like if you have a fiber mesh question and it's pretty specific, something that I could answer quickly, feel free to just ask that and throw that out during the stream. And if I can answer it at that moment, I would be happy to show you guys. But I think for this one, these eyes are just really bothering me and I want to work on them more, but I need to go. So I think we're going to go ahead and cut it here. So hey, thank you guys so much for coming in and hanging out and asking questions, just hanging out with me. What did I call it? The ZBrush buddies, the 3D buddies. So join us next time on 3D Buddies, the official name of this stream. I'm changing it right now. I'm totally not doing that. I'll change the whole name of the channel, 3D Buddies. It's going to be great. But yeah, thank you so much for coming, guys. I appreciate you coming in, asking questions, hanging out, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Do I say peace out? Do now.